What's going on, everybody? I'm John Welsh, and I'm the gentleman.
And I'm Alex Stanford. And I'm the scholar. Welcome, everybody. This is the Big 10-0. 1-0, episode 10. I cannot believe we've been doing this for 10 episodes.
10
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, one of my buddies, and he was like, yeah, how many episodes you got, like 4? I was like, no, dude, we're about to shoot number 10. And he's like, really? How long's it been? I'm like, apparently a long time. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Check this, Joe.
But I do want to say, if you've stuck around and for some reason you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it now. Come on, man. Do it. Get to the subscribe button. It didn't kill you because you weren't subscribed. Not a fan.
Exactly. Hey, but you know what? We are on location today. This is a little something different we're doing.
That's right. That's right. If you notice, our studio is a little bit rearranged. It's because we're not in our studio. We are on location at a Kapow Bailey Cigar Room. It was a last minute idea. Like, hey, y'all want to road trip?
Yeah.
Road trip. And it helps that it's just a few minutes away from our house.
Exactly.
But,
it's right there.
It's pretty awesome. So I guess we have to give an official shout out to our sponsor, who's now giving us a studio. So come on down to Bailey's on Veterans. It's your one-stop shop for all your tobacco-related products except cigarettes. Why?
Because they're gross.
That's right. This is nice. This is nice. You'll also notice that we're just drinking water today.
Yeah.
Because it's been a weekend.
I lost really bad in poker last night.
Oh.
Talked too much smack.
What? I don't know what happens to you, man.
I lose control.
Man.
I just smack talking myself into a corner.
Anytime I've seen you in any kind of competitive arena, this wild man comes out of you. I don't know if it's the red hair or what the fighting Irish, but you talk the most ridiculous Boston smack.
It gets shut down.
And then we did that one time playing pool. I think I ended up on the floor.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get over how much shit talking you did and then missed the shot.
It's like,
oh, whoops.
I was like, I'm going to do it one-handed, and it didn't.
But I do want to talk more about what we did last night. First, we have some featured cigars to smoke.
Yeah, these are.
I think it's time we get into them.
Let's definitely do that.
So here you go, buddy. We don't have a humidor with us today. This is the Leaf series by Oscar. Leaf comes in several varieties, the Connecticut, Maduro, but this is their Sumatra. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different. I thought it would be a nice change of pace. I mean, after all, we've changed the pace of where the show is. So I'm going to change the pace of the kind of thing that we're smoking. It's not going to be like a Connecticut. It's not mild. Okay, this is a medium to full-bodied cigar. But it's not going to have quite the same flavor notes as a Maduro. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of a different experience. And if you can't tell, it is wrapped in a tobacco leaf. And so it's tobacco leaves wrapped in a tobacco leaf. So it gives a nice little aesthetic thing going for it. Smelling it up. Smells woodsy. Nice. So we go ahead. Let's take this puppy off.
Well, I'm going to get in on this thing.
Oh, the hat is going backwards. That tells you he is serious now. Very serious man. And here we go.
Wild, man.
This is almost like a sexual experience, taking off your clothes. That gets you into something more comfortable. And you just, slip them right off. And then the cigar's just like, I'm naked now. And you're like, yeah, and I'm going to put you in my mouth.
That's just so gross, man.
But that's how.
I feel like it's Christmas and I'm
cigars are, man.
That's where I would have went with it.
So this is the first time I've actually ever seen a naked leaf. They've all had the wrappers on, so it's an attractive cigar. I like the color. It's not too dark. It kind of tells you it's a mid between a Connecticut and a Maduro. It has a nice flavor.
Yeah, it's got amazing
nice smell. All right, let me cut this thing. Let's go do dry pull. I hope you guys, when you go to watch the episode, you see what we're smoking and go get it, try it out. I've known a couple of guys who've done that and they really enjoy it. It's much more fun if you're smoking along with us because it's a bigger geek out.
Yeah, and also if you go to Bailey's and just say a promo code GS, you get 10% off. So what's the problem here?
Now, okay, so there's a new promo code.
Oh, we have a new promo code.
They're changing it up.
Okay.
Because they don't want you slackers out there to just watch us one time and get the passcode and then just use it forever. He wants you to keep watching the show. So we're gonna change.
Smart.
We're gonna change the promo up to keep you guessing. See.
Okay.
And
So what's the promo
code for this week is Bailey's.
Bailey's. There we go.
So when you go to Bailey's, just say the word Bailey's and take a step to the left, and the Cigar Nazi will hook you up.
There you go. Oh gosh, dry pull's good.
It is good.
What is going on over here?
It's definitely woodsy, and
You don't taste raisin up in there?
I taste the bright cedar note, and a little raisin. Yes, I'm getting that out. So I had a very interesting cigar experience this past week. I smoked a Bolivar Libertado, which is this beast of a Cuban cigar, and we're smoking it, and it was my buddy's cigar, and we were both smoking one, and he said I hadn't smoked one of these before, and so we were both kind of having our first time experience with it, and we're making this face of like, it's a very high quality cigar, but there's a flavor in there that just is different, and we couldn't figure it out. And I'm halfway through the second, third, and I realized it's cinnamon. There was a cinnamon note in this thing, and it was so different. Yet when it matured in the middle, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Just took me to another place.
Damn it, now I need to get one.
Yeah, that's what a cigar will do. And that's why we put the work in, learning how to discern these flavor notes. We do it for you guys. We do it for the children. All right.
Yeah, let's get these puppies going. This is just the dry pull's good. I can't imagine what the whole cigar is going to do.
Like it. First hit, I like it. Sometimes that first pull, that first puff off of a cigar, the flavors haven't really. It's kind of like a classroom before the teacher like slaps the rule on the table. The kids are kind of unruly and just disorderly. That's what the flavor notes are like at the beginning of a cigar. They haven't really made up their minds how they're going to do it. But then once things get cooking, then you're like, oh, there it is. Oily wrapper, my man.
Dude, this is. I was just about to say that. This is like a sponge.
Jeez.
I mean, it is.
Wow.
Real.
And this is not an expensive cigar.
What's the price on this?
$10.
That's it.
That's it.
That's a deal.
$10.
At $10 make you holla.
So, I was thinking about some childhood issues that I've had, and
it's pretty good.
It is. It's very good.
Starting to take a step back here.
I was going over all the different diagnoses that I've had over the years: dyslexia, autism, and
You're not dyslexia. You never told me that.
Yeah. I learned how to write my name backwards. I was like, I'm either dyslexic or the son of the devil. I don't know, one of those two. But also, when I was a little boy, I was diagnosed with ADD. But then, as a grown man, they changed my diagnosis to ADHD, which means it's basically the same symptoms except it's in 1080p.
You know what? I'm just gonna let that go.
It's so bad. You're like, I'm sympathy laughing. This is self-loathing laughter.
Well, it's kind of weird that you're bringing that up and you're talking about it today, because I was just reading about Dave Grohl, like things that I didn't know, and he actually had it. That's why he dropped out of high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, it's so bad.
He was like, I got to drop out of high school and start fighting some foo.
Yeah.
And then
he'd go to he was in Nirvana first. But.
Well, yeah, I know, but I couldn't make a bad joke.
And before that, he was in like several other really bad bands.
Yeah, I never told you all the diagnoses I had. Did I tell you that when I was a little boy, I was hit in the head with a magnet? Then I was bipolar. Oh, I'm getting a rim shot.
Oh, not from me, though.
That's dirty.
That's so dirty. It's so dirty.
So, have you seen how many people are at Bailey's right now? They're playing backgammon. It looks like up there, a couple guys. What's interesting, so we just called Bailey's and was like, hey, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, I was getting all set up
and do a show, studio. And they were like, absolutely, come on down.
There's ladies here and everything.
And we came in here, and there's guys who actually are fans of the show here, and talked to them about, hey, why you come here? And they were just saying it's always a cool place to hang out. They've been here hours. just smoking cigars and hanging out, playing games, reading magazines.
That's what it's all about, though.
It really is like the mecca of cigar hangout.
Yep.
It's very cool. And every time I come here, I meet somebody new. And we met a guy. We're gonna get him on here in a little bit. I don't care if I have to go yell down there to lasso him in here, but we'll get him in here and we'll talk some fan stories. One thing I think is kind of cool is we've had 10 episodes now, and that's almost enough for like a highlight reel. You know how like watching Seinfeld, a new episode starts, you're like, oh, this is going to be new, and then it turns out, no, this is just the greatest hits episode because they're lazy and didn't feel like writing another script.
No, I like going and doing location shoots. It gives us a chance to talk to everybody that's out there, fans of the show, and just literally anybody can stop in here, and we're probably going to pull them in and say, what are you smoking? Then kind of get the consensus of like what's a good brand that everyone's on.
Dude, what are you making so far of this thing?
I'm actually kind of really digging it. It is everything that I like in a cigar. It's got a bunch of flavor notes, and they're all messing with your palate. And then there's that peppery, but it's not a thick peppery taste at the end. And it's not lingering. It hits you, and it stays there for a second, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. So I like it.
I do like it. I was not, at its price point, I'm kind of a snob, and so I'm just like, how impressive is it going to be? Is it going to be tolerable, or is it going to be like, dang, this is, the bee's knees? It does have a nice composed flavor. It's a little busy, which is what I like.
Yeah,
me too. I don't know if I'd call it a symphony, but it's non-pedestrian. It's not like that one note snare drum that we've smoked before that we may end up talking about. I don't know. We'll see where the show takes us.
Oh man!
It also has a very nice draw, and I like the texture. I like my cigars to have some firm give to them. I don't want them to feel hard. Like sometimes it'll feel like a metal rod with a styrofoam ring around it, and so there's a little give, but you can tell, no, this is stiff. I like cigars that have a little firm sponginess to them, and this one does. And it's a tight concentric ash.
You know what I love about it, really? It's that you can pull, and you don't have to take a hard pull to get those notes. You know what I mean? I hate that. And some Cubans have that. It's like you really have to draw on it to get it to come out.
I swear to God, there was I think a Ramon Ayonis, and I was pufferating so hard on that goddamn thing, I think I broke some petechial arteries in my eyeballs. It's like,
get a migraine.
I was like, man, I'm gonna pass out. This was a hard one.
Yeah. You know what I just thought of? We don't have an ashtray, just in case.
Well, we're gonna improvise, adapt, overcome. We'll figure it out.
We'll go straight Semper Fi on it.
So I wanted to talk about last night the poker gathering that we had.
Good, because I owe people apologies.
Well, we'll get to your mea culpas in due time, but I just want to talk about how that was our second poker night, and we had some new guys there, and it was an absolute blast because everybody was smoking something different, something amazing, and we have a friend of ours who is a connoisseur of fine bourbons, and so he brings a curated selection for us to choose from. I made really ridiculously potent margaritas, and then we just had the most amazing time busting each other's balls while we're smoking great cigars. And the thing is that I was getting slammed hand after hand after hand, and I would just sit back and be like, yeah, but this Padron is treating me good, so I don't care how bad y'all abuse me.
I took all your blues. I felt kind of bad for that. I told you not to play it, though. I really did. I was like, don't play that. Don't play me. I was like, don't, because I got it. I didn't mean,
Well, I mean, I was paying for the read on you because I had to know what was behind that.
Did you like my joke, at my attempt at a joke?
Which one was
that?
The
10-4.
Oh my God.
So
my
bad.
God. That was so bad I expected to hear a laugh track.
I wish I would have had one. I kept playing it.
You need to carry around your little gizmo.
It's so bad. You're so bad at jokes.
This actually has, like, It is more flavorful than I expected it to be. It really is. And it's got a nutty element to it. A bit nutty.
It's a little bit nutty.
It's not bloody nutty. But it's so we're still working on getting some of those guys on the show that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we are. But it's such a good time. I enjoy just busting balls. It kind of reminds me of being back home, where everyone just sits around just busting balls.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Go ahead.
We're looking back on the show, right? 10th episode. Favorite guest so far?
Wow, man, that's kind of hard because two of the guys I really, really like, so I can't really say between them. Favorite guest, Brody, because his it's just big beef talking. That was the best line of it.
Oh,
but he's very witty. I mean, I love Jamie. Don't get me wrong, man. Jamie's my boy, you know. So, but no, I'd have to say Roddy because of the big beef talking. That was hilarious.
That was probably the best line of the whole show.
Yeah, I was literally gonna get. I still might do it. Like get some shirts made up and just big beef talking. Come on, it still hits.
That is, I bet Chick-fil-A could get behind that. You know. Eat more chicken. It's just big beef talking.
It's just big beef talking. It still hits me, man.
You're ridiculous.
It was so good, dude. It was so good. Such a good line. Roddy, you did good, man.
Each
you did good, kid.
There were each guests high spots and low spots. You know, I thought the probably the most fun I had was when Jamie was on the show because we were just watching you freak out trying to guess my word and failing
miserably.
But like Roddy had great banter. I thought Brett was really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Gary was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Gary. Come on. Gary, too.
You know, so it's just like, I don't know which one I would say was my favorite. I do love talking about MMA. So there's a lot to be said about that. And we're going to do more of that. Yeah. We're going to do more MMA talking.
Good.
So
who was yours?
Well, I'm going to be diplomatic and say Gary.
Well, Gary was good. I mean, you know what I mean? He's so smart when it comes to cigars, and I mean, he's like talking to you. You know
and what I liked about it was he showcased his skills at being an ambassador of cigars. You know, because he works as a manager, but he's not just a guy who sells cigars. He's a guy who's a real promoter of the culture, and we got to see it hit that passion.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. You know, to talk to guys who've really been into cigars for a long time, and they can just explain and share. You know.
When are we going to get Johnny on the show? We should do that as another location shoot. Go get Johnny.
Well, he had asked about sponsorships, and I didn't know how to answer it as far as like a sponsorship package. We really hadn't established ourselves yet.
Absolutely, everyone's asking.
Absolutely, we're gonna do one with him in the cigar Airstream. I think that'll be adorable.
We need to do that ASAP.
All right, fine.
Just because I like that. I not only do I like Johnny a lot, but I love being in that Airstream. It's comfortable. It's like when you're in there, and you can rent this guy out for $300 a night. You have to buy at least $300 in cigars, but you get enough buddies, he'll come to you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
absolutely.
Awesome.
It's like $300.
Yeah, it's $300. He comes to you.
This is such a sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this.
Where did this come from?
Man. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. This one is courtesy of Brady because we were in the humidor talking about different sticks, trying to find something for today. And he brought my attention to this one. And he said, listen, I know you guys like darker cigars. But this Sumatra, it's impressive. And it's an underestimated stick. And he's like, I think you really like it. And so that is what ultimately made my mind for what we're going to smoke today. And I am not regretting it one bit, not one tittle.
No, I would buy a couple of these for the humidor.
Yeah, this is an easy smoke.
Yeah.
It would go well with a good coffee or a good liquor.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
So getting back to cigars on the Maduro side.
I see that man over there. Oh, he walked away. Yeah, I see you. You can't hide from us forever.
We got to pull people.
Whenever
Yeah, we're
you're
getting
ready,
somebody
man.
in here right now. We're pulling them in
Trying.
as they sit down.
Basically, getting people from the front to come back here and get on the show is about as hard as getting cigar smokers to watch the show.
No, they watch. They just don't subscribe and like.
I know.
And listen, guys, it's not really hard. See that bell notification? If you hit subscribe and hit that, every time we have a show, it'll come up. That's all you got to do.
And we're hoping that
put it on in the background.
people who got the notice come in here. Come in, young man. Come join us for a spell.
What's up, gents and scholars?
Scholars and gents and scholars.
How you doing today?
Here to make you holler. It only costs $1. So, tell us who you be, sir.
Brody Fontenot. How
This
you doing?
is Brody. We met Brody through the show.
Yep.
Just talking about episodes and whatnot, and expressed a lot of interest. Showed me some new cigar groups. Promoted the show through that, and met up with him today, and he had a little something for us that we'd like to show you guys.
Oh my God, did he have something for us?
Y'all want to see something cool?
Yeah, please show them.
Would you please pass those over here, please? So you see the gold light emanating off of them. So these bad boys are Don Carlo God of Fire. This is a stick that is
Amongst sticks.
amongst few equals. Most guys, when they smoke cigars, they kind of go to the cliche Michael Jordan, shoe of the cigar world, and I think in the new world that's the Opus.
Sure.
Everybody talks about the Opus like that. That is it.
Yep.
But what you don't hear much discussion of is the God of Fire, which is every bit as good as an Opus. Similarly difficult to find, though.
Yeah.
I haven't really found them anywhere local.
Very, very difficult to find.
So, first off, deeply appreciated, and second off, what turned you on to the God of Fire? What was the journey that led you to Prometheus himself?
So actually I was given a God of Fire Carlito by a friend. Didn't even know about the God of Fire other than maybe seeing it a little bit in some cigar groups. But a friend of mine gave me one, and it was the Carlito. And so I really enjoyed that cigar. I went, after taking the first few puffs of it and smelling it, I was like, wow, it was incredible. So I said, where do I get these? And he goes, well,
Good luck.
yeah, good luck. So
We had to go to Denver to get ours.
yes. So there's a cigar group that I'm a part of that does contests, and they do this thing called a razzle, where it's basically like a raffle, and you buy tickets into it, and then they have large prizes, and then they do a randomizer and pick. And I bought like $200 worth of tickets for it, and there's 7,000 tickets, and it's a single pool type thing, and there's a bunch of prizes. And one of the prize packages was a box of 2016 God of Fire Carlitos with a bottle of single barrel E.H. Taylor.
Whoa.
And,
They go big.
There was a third. Oh, and the third thing was 2 Arturo Fuente collector bourbon glasses, one with gold and one with silver. It's about a $550, $600 package. And
Yeah, why are we in this group? Let's get in on this group.
And we were getting down to the end, and I hadn't won anything, and this one popped up, and then he hit the randomizer, and Brody Fontenot, and I was like, what? So when that package came in, that was pretty special. So that's actually how I got a hold of them. So it wasn't a matter of, let me call this guy and buy a box. It was through pure chance, and I got to get them. So I've been enjoying them ever since. This was back around Christmas.
So how would you relate or convey what it's like smoking a God of Fire for the every smoker who doesn't typically want to spend that kind of money?
Well, I mean, it's in the Opus style, so I find it to be probably in a strength wise, it's probably in a medium strength, medium to full. It starts off, honestly, for me, it starts off a little slow. The first few puffs are a little slow, and you kind of go, okay, I'm getting some more just pure tobacco flavor, just a tobacco flavor, and then it really just starts drawing out a bunch of stronger flavors into it. It gets more full as you go into it, and then as you start to get into that second, third, and you move on, every puff is just unbelievable, and the consistency of whoever's rolling it, however they're putting things together. It's an amazing cigar as far as its constructability. So it burns completely perfect. I'm yet to touch one up, smoking one. I mean, you even if you set it and forget it, so to speak. I've yet to have to touch one up because they just burn so well. It's just a perfect construction, and in the end, you get that wonderful little buzz in that final third.
Yeah,
that I like, that a cigar brings, because there's a few really good cigars that bring you that wonderful buzz at the end. This cigar brings that buzz, not the sick buzz. This is a really good cigar buzz.
Yeah,
the flying on cloud 9 buzz,
and the quality of the tobacco is just unreal. So that's my experience with them.
So John, I know it's been a while since we had ours. Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Like it was yesterday.
Wow. He talks about it like it's a missed love affair.
Yeah,
because remember.
Because he's 100% right. It's like it gives you the buzz that you want. It's the taste. It's the set it and forget it. I mean, it burns perfect.
Yeah.
The ones we had were amazing.
We were so obnoxious that night when we were smoking because everybody was smoking something, but we were the only ones smoking got a fire.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to have conversations, and we're all having a when Harry met Sally moment going, oh my God, dude, are you tasting what I'm tasting? And he's all like, oh my God, yes. And we're just getting so carried away, and everybody's staring at us like we're just insane.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I guess technically we were insane.
That's the experience you're looking for, in a cigar. When you find that aha cigar, there's so many regular smokes, and they're good. You just love them. You smoke them a lot, and then you have that one where you just go, "Damn it!" Like this. We've been
finding some sleeper cells in cigars recently.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
and everybody who, because I'm in a lot of cigar groups. I read what people say. I try to contribute, and there's a lot of interesting trends in the thinking, but a lot of people kind of talk about their ideal price point is $10 or less for a cigar. They don't like spending more than that because I guess to them they can't justify the expenditure because you're just setting something on fire. And I know that before I got into cigars, to me it was like, yeah, you're rolling up money and burning it. So why would you want to spend a lot? But then I really plumbed the depths of cigar culture, and now the way I look at it is like, if you're going to smoke a cigar the right way, you're going to have good people to talk with. And you're going to be able to share in an experience. And so when you spend $50 for a cigar, that sounds insane, but if you think about it from the perspective of this is going to be 2 hours of an amazing experience.
Pure
and if they're smoking the same thing you are, it's even double that, which is why we always smoke the same cigar on the show. Yep. It's just amazing when you can be like, are you getting this too? And they're with you every step of the way. That's a bargain for $50. You know, if you think about it, like people buy $200 bottles of wine, and that lasts a couple hours. And so when you think about the full experience, it's actually a lot more economically viable than you may originally thought. So don't shy away from a higher price point. There's a reason why people buy them. It's not because we're the idiots who like buy Michael Kors bags. That's his money. We're actually saying this is worth it and gladly pay it.
Yep.
So,
in a heartbeat.
Agreed. And if I could get a hold of a box, like if someone said, "Hey, Brody, you guess what? The Carlitos, I found a box. You want it?" I would go buy it in a heartbeat. It would be worth it to me to buy that box. I was lucky enough to win them and do it the easier way, which is nice. I mean, that's a bonus. But I would buy it in a heartbeat. There's just certain boxes that I would say
I would have to do the math and figure out how many nights on the couch I would have to pay after buying them, but I'm pretty sure with the conversion I would still do it.
Well, he said he only bought $200 worth of tickets and hit on that. So
and, that package itself was almost $600. So it well paid for itself for that one package.
Yeah,
and it was incredible.
Do you know how many guys that had entered?
There were 7,000 tickets.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Whoa, 7,000
tickets at a single price ticket of $5 a piece. The prize pack was over $20-something thousand. There was roughly 40 prize packs, with the average one going for $350 to $500 a set.
See, so it was a bargain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with the raffle, I'm talking about just like go buying a box.
Oh no, buying a box, you're going to spend some money.
Sure. No.
I would love to have our show get to the point where we do raffles and we do contests, giveaways, stuff like that. I want to do stuff where, we have people enter into contests and winner will get like some Cuban cigars or something.
Well, I talked to the people that could make that happen, but we'd have to get to 100,000 subscribers. I mean, we could do that. We could do it. It's going to take us.
It's like what Hillary Clinton said. It takes a village. We need you guys. Come on in, subscribe, build us up. Then we get you on the show.
But a good thing too is that like in being in cigar groups. So the cigar group I run is Cigar Society. We have 800, 900 members or so. We'll have guys that'll approach us and just ask to host their own small contest just for fun. Like use a football thing. What's the score of the Super Bowl and the total score of the put your total number in and then use some sort of tiebreaker if you have a tiebreaker, and then they'll offer up something. It's something from their own personal stash. So you can still host a contest and have fun with it by doing having guys that'll come in and actually be willing to give up something that just to have the fun and the interaction of being able to do it.
It's like playing squares for the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I think
it's fun just to do it.
And if I had that kind of situation, I would love to do that, just because it's so much fun sharing the culture with guys and watching them get excited about something and then sharing in whatever they win. And there's such a brotherhood with it. It's fantastic. But I wanted to ask you, Brody, how long you been? Brady, I'm sorry.
Brody. No, you had it. Yeah.
Okay,
you got it.
How long have you been watching the show?
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning. Wow. It's like we've known him since he was this big. Well, tell me, what have your thoughts been on the just the evolution of the show?
It's pretty cool. I think you guys are. What I like about it is that you're testing. You seem to be as you're growing the show, you're testing it. So you have some long episodes where you sit down and do some fun stuff for a while you smoke an entire cigar and do as you go you review the cigar. But you also put some shorts in there, which I think is really cool, adding the shorts in, because some people may not want to watch an hour and 45 minutes, but they really love watching that 20-minute show that you did where you did had some kind of fun.
And what do you think? Doesn't it have the most adorable name? The nub.
Yeah, the nub. I love the nub. So and then the other thing I like about it is the honesty. I think we talked about that earlier. I won't speak about what we talked about, but I love it. It's good to be honest, especially about a cigar too. If you're going to be honest and say what it's like for you, what the experience is. I like the idea of the rating too. I think that's a good thing. Ratings are big, of course, and then you guys give an overall rating, and your rating may be a little bit different than John's, but ultimately it's still nice to see what two different people think of that cigar, because he may think it's
Speaking
great,
of cigars,
and you may think it's
First thing is, thank you for the recommendation.
Yes, definitely.
how's it going?
Seriously, this is
that's
drop,
okay.
that's right.
We're gonna get you an ashtray.
This. I'm sorry. This is another sleeper cell. Like I found the Maduro 601. I was like, whatever. Oh, that thing turned. I was like, what? And I just, every time I'll stop in here, I'll just grab one. Like, I'm gonna get another one.
Yeah. Well,
so that was my sleeper cell.
Yeah, and this cigar, I'm glad you're liking it, because I'm not a Sumatra wrapper person per se. I'm not a big on the Sumatra.
Very oily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spongy with that oil.
This one, I just found it to be incredible. It's my favorite of the Sumatra. It's my favorite of Oscar.
It's got a very strong coffee flavor.
Yeah.
And a little nuttiness, which I know John's a big fan of nuttiness.
They say, I mean, you read some of the reviews, you hear people say citrus. I don't know if you guys get that. I mean, they also say white pepper.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's pepper.
I see the citrus. Yeah.
A little bit, right? I guess my palate doesn't hit the citrus part.
It's at the beginning.
I told you earlier, sweet, right? There's some sweet in there, but
it's a raisiny type.
Okay, there you go.
Taste.
That's better.
Yeah.
That helps, because that's what I was thinking. Not less of this, but there you see a lot of reviews that say citrus, and then you also hear some chocolate, like dark chocolate, and then you also hear people say, what was the other one? The pepper, the white pepper.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It definitely has a pepper.
White pepper, and then when you get into that final third, I guarantee you guys are going to tell me the pepper's really going to start. it's gonna.
It's got a mild pepper right now.
That's it. It's gonna be mild, and which keeps you going, and then it'll start to get a deeper pepper once you get into that final third. At least that's my.
So tell me, how many of the show's cigars have you smoked that you've seen us feature?
I believe I've smoked all of them.
Okay, awesome. So what I want to ask you is, since you've gotten to smoke the same sticks as we do, and since you've been smoking a while, you have your own palate. How do you track our notes, our observations?
Well, I mean, mostly from. I tell you what. Let's start with saying this. When I've watched, the ones that I haven't smoked, I've smoked after watching. Right? Say, oh, I want to go give that one a try, and I'll come over here to Bailey's and give it a shot. And so one may hit me really good, and one may not hit me like it hits you guys. So the tracking part of it, for me, it's all about just whether or not I love the flavor and how the flavor profile goes. And so I don't physically track a cigar like say let me write it down, but I do take pictures. That's the way that I like to track cigars. I take a picture, and then if it's one that I really like, that I enjoyed, I'm going to shoot a picture of it.
So what was one that we featured that you thought it was?
Oh, you're going to make me think now.
On the money, or the one that you were like, yeah, that.
I think you guys did the HC,
Was it one of the Hamlets?
The Hamlet.
Yeah.
The Hamlet. That was one. I don't know. I mean, you guys.
We did both Hamlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like the Hamlets.
The Hamlet is a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. So those are definitely two that were really strong for me. And then I think you did the Espinosa Crema. Yeah. That one didn't quite do it for me. It just wasn't strong enough for me. I didn't.
Neither us.
So there you go. So I mean, it's kind of amazing that we're hitting the same note on that. But it was good. I mean, the price point's not horrible. It was a good cigar, but it just didn't hit it for me. So I haven't bought it again. I mean, that's where I'll go. I'll just say, okay.
Did you get a chance to check that Villager cream, the first one we ever did? That was another sleeper. I was like, man, this is good.
I don't think I did that one. Now that I think about it, I don't think I hit the Villager.
Yeah, that one is. You should give that a try. I'm telling you, that one will surprise you.
So one goal I had for this show was I wanted to feature cigars that weren't the cliche everybody go smoke the stick. I wanted to feature cigars that people were like, I've seen that one, but I've never thought to pull the trigger on it. I'm gonna go try it now because they said that, and then like expanding their arsenal of the ones that they really like.
Right. And then also the devil's advocate of, wait a minute, am I not gonna
and if it ends up not being so good, because we don't always feature cigars that we pre-smoked. Sometimes it's our first time, so we really don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's hit or miss. But what I wanted to know was, like, did you find that our show has turned you on to some new sticks?
Yeah, I mean, it has. Like I said, the Hamlets. I would have never. I don't think I ever would have picked them up. I really I pass them over. If I go in the humidor there, and I've just kind of passed them over. So that's a good thing about the show is that you pull something out that I haven't had and say, okay, and then I'll take off of what you guys say. So if you say, you know what, at the end of this thing, you give it a pretty decent rating. You go, yeah, I ought to try this one out. I'll come over here and try it out. And then the Hamlet's a great example of one that I thought was really good. So I think going through the entire cigar on your show is important.
Yeah, you got to get all the thirds. You have to get every single one.
Yeah, because I mean that first third maybe, and then all of a sudden you get a blink, and that second third and something hits.
The best part of the cigar is towards the end of the second third.
Yeah,
and that takes generally an hour to get into.
Yeah,
and so you go looking at regular cigar review shows, and they're 20 minutes. And I don't know if they just cut to kind of condense the whole experience into a 20-minute thing, but to me, reviewing a cigar is more than just saying first third notes, middle third notes, final notes, and then like my check boxes for construction, for pull, for burn, for ash, all that stuff. To me, to review the cigar is you also have to review the experience. And I don't want to abridge that. I don't want to cut it. And so people have said, I can't watch a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
And it's like, who said you had to watch it all in one go?
Yeah.
When you're in the car, kick it on 10 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
The show kind of is schizo. We jump all over the place, so it's not like you're going to be like, if you don't remember what we said in the first hour, then the second hour is not going to make any sense. No,
it's not like that.
We're acting fool, so
Yep.
like it's not really going to be a big deal. But that's
Plus,
that's
we have
why
so many-
the show's as long as it is.
Plus, we have so many life stories between us too. I mean, I could keep talking all day.
No,
We've been through some
that's something that I was telling Alex earlier about it. Is that there's some incredible stories that come off of the show that they make me laugh. I mean, there's some funny damn stories that you guys tell, and that adds to the experience of the show. Not just the cigar itself, just some of the stories.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because that was something that we really wanted to do, was to
Yep.
let who we are come out with the show, and so we're not just two stuck up guys smoking cigars, but we're sharing our life stories. We want because we want the audience to feel like they're participating in that cigar experience, and the only way to do that is to share.
Do it.
Yep.
So let me ask you this: if you could pick a cigar to see featured on a future episode, I know you have an opinion on the Cuban cigar that you want to see smoked.
Yeah, the Trinidad.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
The Fundadores.
We're
That is
gonna-
my favorite.
we're gonna do it.
So that's I just love those.
But like
I don't know
non-Cuban,
why, but I love
give me a suggestion to feature.
I don't know if you guys ever done any of the Southern Draw stuff. Have you ever even heard of
Yes,
Southern Draw?
yes, that's the
Done
one I
with
had the
Southern
other
Draw?
day.
Right. So that's was a boutique, has now become more of a mainstream. They got into the Cigars International, and they're starting to get a more mass production going on with some of those cigars. But so the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder.
I haven't had that yet.
Okay, so there you go.
There
That
you
would be
go.
one to try.
Okay.
The Jacob's Ladder it's a full strength cigar. It's a pretty incredible cigar. I love it. He started Jacob's Ladder way back when, and he's continued to produce it. He's also made a Lancero version of it called Rung of the Ladder, I think it's called, and cool names. And but the cool thing about that cigar is that, and I think it's Robert Holt that does. He's from Texas, Robert Holt. He's the one that started Southern Draw. He's an interesting guy, and one of the things that he talks about is the experience of, and you've mentioned it, about how he has one called 300 Hands. And the cigar is literally called 300 Hands, and it's an ode or an homage to the cigar industry and how from seed to
Yeah.
It passes
you and
300
me,
hands.
it passes through 300 hands. There's been people that have said it's 200, it's 250, whatever that number is. In his experience, based off of what he's done, is 300.
I've heard
So-
as high as 5.
Yeah. So I mean, it just depends on what trip it takes.
The aging, everything.
Yeah. And so I love that about it. But I like, there's a lot of cigars out of Southern Draw that I think you guys would enjoy, and I think it's something now it's more readily available. Whereas
are they
before,
Baileys?
not yet. They did some Lanceros here for a little bit just to test, which they sold through. He's had some production problems due to the coronavirus
Yep.
stuff and all that. So, but I think he's back on point again, and he's starting to get it out. So that would be something that I'd hit Jamie up with and say, Jamie, maybe it's time to grab a couple of lines of the Southern Draw. They can be direct contacted. It's not something that you have to go through a broker or go through somebody to get to. You can get directly to them. And I'm not promoting. Robert and I don't know each other other than he's in our cigar group.
Yeah.
So he has a true appreciation of the craft and of tobacco, and his cigars are incredible. So that would be something that I'd bump Gary and Jamie about and say, let's pull a couple of lines of
Hopefully,
Southern Draw
now
in
that
here.
they're getting their tobacconist license, they can start
Yes.
expanding the kind of stuff they
And
can
that
feature.
it's
here.
already starting to happen, so that's a good thing. I think one of the ones, what were we looking at a while ago? Crux.
Mm-hmm.
That he didn't have access to that, and now he's got access to Crux, and then there's some other lines, so he'll be able to expand. I mean, for
Man,
sure.
I'm hoping he can get some Ligas.
I think he will. I think
'Cause
he will
I-
eventually.
I typically find Drew Estate to be not really on the same level as the big hitters, the Rocky Patels, the Perdomos, the Padrones, my father. Like those guys, man, they can produce otherworldly sticks.
Exactly.
And I don't find Drew Estate makes too many. Like the Undercrown is a staple.
Yeah.
But I find that the Undercrown, like, I get bored with them. After I smoke them enough, I'm just kind of like, I don't really know if I feel like having another one of these. Whereas there's never going to be a time where I don't wet my shorts over a Padron 1926. Every time, But the Liga is the one cigar from Drew Estate where I'm like, this is a heavy hitter. This is solid.
Yep. And then there's it's funny because in our cigar group there's a team T52 and a team 9, Liga 9, and so there's a battle of which one is the best. I'm a team T52. I love the T52.
Well, I've only had the 52, and I freaking love it.
Yeah, it's good.
I was excited to find it because it's not over here. So
That's right.
I got to go to other humidors, and when I saw a Liga, I was like, dude, I see so many guys talking about the Liga, and they only had the 52, and I was like, this is why they like it. But then I'm hearing a lot of guys say that they favor the 9, and that's their best.
Yep.
And so I went and found one. We went to, so interesting stories. We went camping in Canyon Lake over the night at Dustin's momentous knockout of Conor McGregor. Still talking about it. We went over there, and Canyon Lake is this little podunk town that looks like it was built between 1965 and 1980, and everything is a shed. The way that city is set up, it's so old school. Everything has got like a corrugated tin roof. A lot of the businesses incorporate shanty or shed in the name because they're like, lean into it. That's what we are. But they had a cigar store. And so I was like, can I go?
Make a run.
I mean, I brought like a box. I brought my whole humidor for this 3-day trip because I couldn't figure out what I was going to want to smoke. So I just brought a humidor. And I didn't really have any storage space, but I saw that and I was just like, that's a later me problem. Right now is I need to go to this store and check it out. So Lindsay's like, okay, sure, we'll go check it out. I go in there. It is opulent. It's got an attached cigar lounge, massive humidor, really cool furniture. And I'm like, how do y'all support yourself with this podunk-ass town? Like, who's going to spend the kind of money on the cigars here? They had these cigar rights, CRA sampler packs with Opus X in there and a bunch of other stuff. So I was like, I'm going to take one of these. And then I go in there, humidor, and they had big old double Churchill Liga number 9. So I'm like, I don't mind if I do. And then they had a Padron 50th anniversary. I've never even heard of that. I thought the 1926 was their best one. Nope.
Yeah.
Apparently the 50th anniversary is even more than that. It was damn near $50.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't care. And so I was extremely excited about all the stuff we picked up there. Spent a little bit of money. Let's just say they don't sponsor the show.
Yeah.
but hopefully they will for next time. I did tell them about the show and gave them a card.
Yeah.
And they were like, cool, we'll check it out. But in 3 days, I smoked 11 cigars.
Yeah.
That's
you're rolling.
That
on
was
it.
Yeah. No, that's big.
That
would be big for me too.
hardcore.
Yeah, Liga's and all the offshoots of Liga, the rat series, the Velvet Rat, the Year of the Rat. I don't know if you've had any of those.
No, not that one.
Okay, so there's a bunch of offshoots of Liga that are exclusives that come out once a year that you're lucky to get a hold of them. You may find them on a secondary market and things like that. But they have the I call it the Rat series. It's Ratzilla, Year of the Rat. There's all of those. A Velvet Rat.
I knew of the Year of the Rat, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize there were so many rat
They're incredible.
permutations.
They're incredible, and it's all Liga. And then I think this year they just announced they've got the H99 coming out. That's brand new. I think it's going to hit the shelves. It's exclusive to Liga shops, but it's going to hit the shelves. If not now, probably in the next month, maybe in February. It's called an H99. They're talking high marks on this thing. It's unbelievable. But
I can't
all
wait
Liga.
till they start kicking and they have to expand their humidor with all the new stuff.
It's going to happen.
I'm gonna be like a kid in a candy store.
It's going to happen.
Oh my god! So
It's
all
been
right,
fun to watch this place evolve.
I want to ask both of you guys this question and get a round table discussion because we were discussing at a round table. What is the brand that you don't even have to think about whether or not you're going to pick a good one of it? Like that just consistently, everyone out of it is stellar.
Rocky Patel.
Rocky Patel.
Rocky Patel.
Okay. Tell us why.
I've yet to have a bad cigar from them. That's the truth. Even their Edge series, and then you go all the way up. Everything I've ever had, it was either, this ain't that bad. You know, it's not bad. It's not like you're just like, okay, I wouldn't smoke that again. Every time they hit something, it hits the mark. Every time, and it's you know, whether they're Connecticut, Sun Grown, the Maduros, all of them hit.
All right, what do you think, Brody?
Probably Padron. I'd say that Padron is one that no matter what I smoke from Padron, I've always enjoyed. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's one of those exclusives, like you said, like the 50th, or I think there's an 86th or an 83rd. And there's other ones like that. But then even if you go down to the what you consider the lower, like the 4000s and they're all incredible because every one you smoke is incredibly consistent. They burn perfect every time.
Isn't Padron a hand-rolled brand?
Hand-rolled, and it's just, I love Padron. I mean, I'm a huge Padron fan, and I would, if it's like one of those things, if you're on a deserted island and they say, all right, you can have anything from that line, anything from that brand, but that's all you can have. Which one are you picking? I'd pull Padron, me personally.
I love your answers, and let me tell you why. Because it would be between Rocky Patel or Padron for me. and it's, I have a more pronounced history with Rocky Patel. That was the first expensive cigar I ever smoked. And it was a couple of years after I got married. My uncle-in-law and brother-in-law, you know, they smoked cigars. And so I wanted to show them I was a man of mint. You know, I wasn't going to be rolling up with no Swisher Sweets. And so I brought cigars for the Christmas thing. And I went into this cigar shop in Anoka, which is in Minnesota, and they had Rocky Patel, and I can't remember if it was the vintage, but I think it was, but it was like $16, and I was like, wow, that's a lot, because I was not fully into the culture, so to me, I was still stuck in that old way of thinking, but I went ahead and picked one up, and I was blown away by it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yep.
And so from there, I went and got into the 93s and the Connecticut 99, and then all their offshoots. You know, the Hamlets, Winter, the 25th anniversary, the ALR, and like you were saying, they're all varying degrees of awesome.
Yeah.
And there are a couple, like we smoked the 25th anniversary on the last show, and that was John's first time, and he was blown away by it. And I love when I'm in that position where I'm like, this is gonna blow your mind, and I just kind of wait for the show, and then he does that little face he makes every time, where his eyes bug out, and he goes like, kind of like he's getting his prostate checked.
Yeah.
You went too deep, dog.
It's that sudden little. That was an experience.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch John on the show. I honestly, you know, I listen and you're talking, and I'm just going to tell a little story. I'm not going to tell the story, but I'm going to tell a little story. And then I watched John. Although you're talking, I'm listening, but I'm watching John, and I'm watching him take a puff of a cigar and then you could, his mannerisms, his face, you know, you can tell when it's good and when it's not, because when it's good, he's got that look, you know, it's like that, you know, and then when it's not so good, he's like, you know, you can just see that. You can see that.
Yeah, I wear it on my face. I
love it. It's the greatest thing because that's what makes makes it fun.
I always prefer to have John around when we're smoking a cigar because I love watching his reactions.
Well, because too, and then correct me if I'm wrong, John, but newer to the cigar world, so that's what makes the experience even more fun. Watching somebody that's new, trying the new stuff, trying different stuff, and going, you know, getting the reaction from somebody that's like, and then when you get blown away. Because I'm 10 years, 11 years into smoking cigars, and, you know, there's still a cigar here and there that hits me. It's just like, wow, you get that wonderful look, you know?
We are in the business end right now,
yes.
Brent. It is.
How is it?
Banging.
I was going to chime in and be like, oh, this is kind of a good choice. This is the one I'm going to reach for a little bit more often now.
What?
I'm telling you, man.
I would have a box of these.
I'm so impressed with the Sumatra, and that's why I'm glad you ended up choosing it, because I've smoked a lot of Oscar stuff, just different Oscar, but that Sumatra, for some reason, man, it just hits me right. It's just good. You know, it's a box-worthy type cigar.
This is a box-worthy cigar.
It is, absolutely. For sure. And I like how it's got the tobacco leaf around it as a conversation starter. Mm-hmm. And
And there's stories, right? There's
I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna out my buddy Mick. Love you, buddy, but I'm about to embarrass you. So
I figured there was a story.
We were going camping, and I go camping a lot because my wife likes to go camping, and I have to come with her. So I go camping a lot. Well, we took Mick and our friend Paige camping one time, and I was like, "Hey, I'm bringing some cigars. You want to smoke something?" And Mick is like, "Sure, but let me give you some cash. So go to Bailey's and buy some stuff that would be suitable for me." He's like, he's not a hardcore smoker, so he mild to medium is kind of his range. And so he says, buy me some, and then I'll just pay you back. So I come over here, and I bring Gary in the humidor, and we're talking about, like, picking out 5-6 for a newbie. Well, he picked out a Leaf, and he told me about it. I was like, oh, that is niche. That's cool. So we got the Connecticut Leaf. I bring it to Mick, and I give it to him, and he looks at me. He's like, what kind of effed up cigar is this?
That's a rough roll.
I'm like, dude, you don't light it like that. You gotta take the leaf off. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he had a good time with it.
No, I watched a guy do the same thing. It was in a shop in Houston, a shop south of Houston in Webster. It's called the Smoke Ring, and it's a great shop. And I watched a newbie guy, not picking on the newbie guy, but he got a Leaf. They talked him into, hey man, just try this one, And he went and sat down, and we were all sitting in there talking, and I looked over there, and he saw the wrapper on top of the Leaf, and he was like, okay, you could just see it. And so the two guys that were with us were like, Brody, just do it now. Just tell him. And so I said, no, let it happen. Let it happen. I have to see this.
It's like the Animal Planet, Doc. You just have to
let it happen. And he grabs the cutter. It's the Leaf's on it, right? That's wrapped. And he grabs the cutter, and we went, whoa! We told him, hit the brakes, man. It's like, that's not the cigar. And he goes, man, I was wondering. I just didn't. I figured I'd just cut it and give it a try.
The lesson sticks that much more deeply when you let him go for it. Because then you have that humiliation that gels the lesson.
We knew it was going to happen, and we said, we just couldn't. We couldn't let him do it. But he was ready to cut that thing and start smoking it as is.
Wow. I'm gonna finish giving my answer on the Rocky versus Padron. Okay, so I talked about Rockies and about how I love them so much. I love how they have such a classy, subtle fruitiness. Like the Vintage 93's got a little bit of that cherry raisin flavor that finishes real full, real nice. But the thing about Padrones is, like you said, even the 4000s.
Yeah.
You can go to Total Wine and get one for $7.
Yeah.
And it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
And they're all just varying degrees of awesome. I had a Padron Black this past Thursday. First time having one of those. Like, and this is also amazing. Yeah. And the thing is that the thing that's going to tilt it in Padron's favor is that I've smoked a lot of Rocky Patels, and they sometimes have a tendency of being easily over-smoked. So what I mean by that is that they're more delicate, and if you smoke it a little too aggressively, like if you're getting drunk or whatever, and you're cutting up with your friends, the flavor will turn. Yeah. It'll get bitter.
Yep.
And you'll have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. And you just have to let it sit for a while. Padrones, you can't over-smoke them.
Nope.
They are delivering it from the first pull to the last, and it just gets better every other pull.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm hitting the citrus right now. I'm starting to taste it.
There you go.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just like hit me. I was like, oh, there it is.
It's right on the tip, right around the beginning.
Mine's in there now. Like
no, at the taste, before taste.
Oh yeah.
Right,
no, you're right. You're in. Yes.
And then
that's weird. Because I was like, I don't taste in the beginning.
It'll move out of that, and it'll move into a white pepper hit towards the end, which is kind of brings it from a medium to full really quick.
It's crazy. Because I wasn't getting in the first third.
What I want to do at some point, I want to bring Hannah in here, because I think that would be an interesting perspective, because you don't normally expect a little 20-something-year-old girl to be like choosing to be in a cigar lounge.
Yeah.
That's always interesting. That actually reminds me of a story I want to tell. I find...
Yeah, we definitely need an ashtray. I'm like this.
Watch this, real quick. And this is it. The man, the myth, the legend, the Brody. Getting us an ashtray. Boom.
Thank you so much for that.
John is notorious for the messes that he makes.
Yeah, but I clean my messes.
I think last episode he ashed on top of the table and under the table and inside the table. And then he spilled his drink on the table.
Oops.
I gotta get him a sippy cup for the studio. It's just getting.
When I get rolling, and I'm, especially you made me drink so much that day, and it wasn't like everything we had. That was a sipping bourbon, and I was chugging it.
Did you watch episode 9 yet?
Yes.
Dude. So
Yeah,
what did you think
still
of the mystery drinking game?
That was full. I mean, that was cool. I was going to say two things at once. That it was a different mix up from the what's the damn word? I don't want to say it. Well, we're not drinking, so it doesn't matter. So,
Take a drink. Okay.
Yeah. So that was cool. The mystery, and I was waiting for it. You know, like you were waiting for when somebody hit it, and you was paying attention. You know, like nope, you hit it just because you just took a drink.
Yeah, Jamie was so subtle. He'd be like this. And like, come on, man. No, it's part of a show. Make it the show.
And I kept trying to get you guys to say my word, and I'd have to take a drink every time. So you guys were hitting me with yours, and I'm trying to get you. So I was sipping them. I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting drunk.
Yeah, I watched that episode, and I like you said, I love watching you. And so watching you that whole episode, I can see every time you would talk and you'd say taste, and then you'd catch your speed up, take a drink, and then be like, I'm paying my debt. Here we go. And then it wouldn't work. He'd be like, fuck. I'm drinking over here, trying, and then he'd say it again. He'd take a drink, and then it wouldn't work. He got me one time with it, but then as he's talking, the look of utter scrutiny over every word that was coming out of his mouth. It was, to me, that was the most entertaining aspect of the show. Was watching him sweat on like, I don't.
If you think that's entertaining, come play pool with us one night.
That's great.
It's a trip, or play poker with us.
So here's the dude. Poker. That's we're gonna have to get a waiting list, because like so many guys want to come play poker with us, and we only have like 7 spots at the table.
Yeah, we do.
Technically 8, but we only have 6 chairs, and we need more chips. But so I love watching the social dynamic of how people interact with each other, especially online, where you have that buffer of anonymity.
Yeah.
So you get to see a lot of people's unrefined aspects. And my wife is in a number of the same cigar groups that I'm in, and she is quickly becoming a fan of cigars. And so she has her own little stash of Cuban cigars that I steal from every now and then when I need one. But sorry about that. And then like she has her own cigars that she buys that she likes, and you know, it's she does her homework and she reads reviews. So when she interacts with guys on these threads, they don't know that. They just know she's a hot chick talking about cigars. And I love to extol the chivalry of the cigar culture, because it's all about classical notions of gentlemanness and ladiness. And when a woman is into cigars, I look at that as like she's down with that old school style of gender roles. And so it's really fun because they don't take things the wrong way. You're not going to have a crazy lady with blue hair smoking a cigar being like, look, my pronouns are thee and zer. And I'll be like, zut up. So
we were just having this. This is so weird. You're bringing this up again, because we were just having this conversation. I wasn't having it with you. I was having it with one of my other buddies, AJ. This dude was talking about. He's like, man, why can't we go back to the Humphrey Bogart days? You know, where it's just like you know, and that was kind of like a thing back in the day.
You know what's funny is that they have taken surveys of women since like the first wave of feminism, and women have tested happier back during those Humphrey Bogart days rather than now. They actually are less happy now for all the equality things that have been done. It's very interesting how that works. But so
that's when people say like, oh, chivalry's dead. No, it's not. You took that culture out of our culture.
Pushed it underground.
You did. You threw it to the bus. Like you threw us under the bus.
But
now if you open a door for a woman, now they go like, what do you think? I couldn't open? I'm like, whoa.
But there's still women out there that love it.
Yes, sir. In this state, yes.
So you got to keep doing it.
Because I'm a man of the world. This state makes you like that. I'm humbled here. I'm like, yeah, this is what it is. This is what it should have been.
Yeah,
it
that
always
was one
should
of the things
be.
that I love about my wife is that she's into like being educated and smart, but she also understands that like a man is supposed to be a gentleman. And a woman is supposed to be
100% of the time.
And so she really likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and my wife's the same way. My wife grew up in a household where her mother raised 6 kids, and her father worked, and mother raised 6 children. She was the youngest. She got to watch her mom. She learned to cook. But she also, her mom was a very strong believer in supporting her husband and supporting that part of it. And then, so my wife, yes, she did some independence in her life and became independent as a later generation, right? She's the youngest of 6 again. So, and watching that, but she absolutely 100% loves the chivalry that a man provides, no matter where it is.
Yeah,
No
my mom was like one of the head people at DuPont, and my dad was a civil engineer, owned his own company. If my dad didn't open up her door anywhere we went, or the car door or whatever, something was off. Because that's who he was. So I learned that. So when I used to do it back when I was, they were like, the girls are, yeah, this guy's a real guy, And then you see the opposite of that, and you're like, there must be something wrong in that marriage or that relationship, and that's how I kind of took it. You know,
and that's just like an example would be as if I asked my wife, her name is Mary, if I ask her when we go to a restaurant, what are you gonna eat? And she's like, I think I'm going to get this, let's just say the steak and potatoes. I'm just using something blank, right? Steak and potatoes. And then when the waiter comes over, I said, my wife is going to have the steak and potatoes, and I'm going to have, you never see that anymore.
No.
She loves that. I mean, that's a cool thing. Some women might be kind of turned off. Maybe if it's a first date, they might think,
some girls are put off. Some girls are put off by that, but you know what? And especially in this town, if you don't do that, a girl thinks you're like, you're a sap. In this town,
well,
I like
ordering for my wife, but it's very difficult because she likes to order salads, and I like to order like sides of beef.
Yeah.
And so the waiter comes over, and I'm like, I'll have the 72-ounce New York strip with the potatoes au gratin and smothered Brussels sprouts, and the lady will have a salad. I look like the biggest piece of shit doing that. I'm like, you ate yesterday, honey. You're getting the salad today.
This jerk. He's just buying her a salad.
But I'm sorry, I always say a good woman knows when to be respected and knows when to get spanked.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
You got to have both of those. And so
we just can't take it back to the real Humphrey Bogart days. Like, come here, woman.
Yeah. Pull by the hair.
So I used to tell a story about how, like, when I first got married, I was learning all these lessons about how women are and how, like, what you see in movies isn't always a help. And there was an incident where we were driving in Minnesota, and her car broke down, and she started panicking, and she was just kind of losing it, getting hysterical and getting louder and louder. And I just remembered a flashback to a Humphrey Bogart movie where the lady was losing it, and he just slaps her and kind of like snaps her out of it, and she's like, thanks,
I'm good now.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, so I tried it, and it's just like, why did you hit me?
Assault.
I was like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to thank me. Thank me.
Well, I'll give a quick story. So my ex-wife is a complete feminist. And the one time she wanted me to act chivalrous, she got mad that I didn't. Because I was like, well, you didn't. You always, every time I get in that situation, you kind of argue with me. But the one time I was like, okay, I guess she wants to handle it up. I'll tell you the story. She was driving, got a flat tire, pulled off the side of the road, and it was like right next to the highway. So she was getting a little scared. So our daughter was with her, and I said, well, let me come get her. And I wanted to say, like, why don't you get in my Jeep? You guys drive off. But then I look in her eyes. She was just like, I couldn't read her. I was like, do I just tell her to take off and I'll sit here and wait for AAA or what? But I let her stay. When she got back home, all she did was yell at me. I'm like, but like, it's a double-edged sword. So that's, and I'm not saying anything. Women, be feminists if you want to be feminist. But the bottom line is you can't throw mixed signals out there. You're either going to go all the way or you can't. You know what I mean? Like, don't bust our chops both ways.
You know where else that falls to is like if you see a woman in distress, like in a situation of where she's in trouble. And I'll give you a quick story. I was in Orlando. And I was at the Cirque du Soleil show in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I had my children, young children, my wife. And in the row in front of us, they had a man and a lady. Did not speak English, but they were happy. And then all of a sudden, she said something that made him mad. And he started berating her. And then up to the point where he clenched her arm. He was holding her real hard. He was jabbing his finger into her side, She was crying, and my wife's looking at me, and I said, I got to do something. You know, we got to step in. This is not right. You know, this is, my children were terrified. It's like, dude, you're about to get thrown 3 rows down if you don't quit. Yeah. My wife took off. She grabbed the security guy. They swooped in. We told them what happened. Somebody spoke. They brought somebody in that could speak the language that they were speaking. It wasn't Spanish. I don't know what it was. But it's like, do you
Portuguese
sit back
or something.
or do you step in? You know, it's like that's something that a man should do. I mean, a man should step in and try to save the damsel in distress or somebody that's in a bad situation. It's like,
I used to get myself in trouble with that, especially here. I remember the first time I came here was right during my first ever Festival International, and there was something went off, and everyone just started running that way, and I turned it because I'm ex-military. I was always trained to run towards the fire because you got to put it out, basically, you know. So I started running this way, and my brother-in-law at the time grabbed me. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, we got to go assist." And he was like, "Dude, you're not in the military anymore. Run with everybody else." And I was like, "That's not how I get down. I have to go that way." And I went that way, and it was nothing. It ended up being nothing.
So I'm going to say something that, by all accounts, is utterly insane, but I'm going to say it anyway because, you know, like you were saying earlier, we're too honest. I'm not. If there's something I think needs to be said, I'm going to say it. I know you're a fan of Habanos as well. Have you ever had a Cohiba Esplendidos?
No.
Okay. I find that this cigar at its busy point right here, it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's very similar, and the Esplendido is way more expensive than this one. Last night, our friend Andre, he was smoking an Esplendido. I had a Padron 1926, and John wasn't smoking anything because it was his period, or
I was trying to win money, and it's easier for me to read when I'm not going.
Oh, that's what it was. I was like, he wasn't smoking a cigar. I was like, John, I've never known you to like just watch me smoke a cigar. He was like making up all kind of ridiculous excuses.
But to be honest with you, I was just trying to take down Andre because he's like my nemesis on that table. Everyone else, I can read them perfect, and I can't get his tells. I can tell when he's really, when he's bullshitting everybody, but not when.
Hey, when you say it lower, it still goes into the microphone.
I know. I'm sorry. But I'm like, I'm reading and I'm reading, and I don't know whether he's on or he's off. I couldn't get a good grab on, especially last night, because I was like, he don't have it. And he had his. It happened twice. He took my whole pot. That's why I went all in the last time. I was like, he doesn't have that.
So that's why, right? Well, anyway, Andre was smoking the Esplendido, and I started babysitting, so I was smoking some too, and it was towards the money end of it, and it was kicking. Really rich flavors, and I'm surprised, very much so, that right now this one has gone from being busy. This is now a symphony. This is
good. This is definitely something I'm reaching for again and again and again.
Well, I feel good about the pick then.
So
yeah, you put it on. This is one.
Oh,
and then he also brings us the God of Fire. I mean, come on. You're the man.
Let's just say someone's going to be thinking about Brody tonight.
In a good way.
Yeah. So what I want to do with the God of Fire, I just came up with this. I think it needs its own video.
Oh yeah.
I think we might do a nub of it and just go kind of informal, but I don't know what people need to do to get some of those. But if you want to see what the real highs are, the tops of the mountains, we talk about people saying like this is the apex of the mountain, this is the Everest, and then you have this guy saying, well, this cigar is the actual snow cap on that Everest. This is a good place to start because you're gonna see.
It was for me. The price tag at the one we had in Denver, I was like, well, wait a minute.
Nothing can be worth that much. That's what you think when you think that like, price,
no,
right?
Come on.
Like, no, can't be that good.
And then it was.
How long had you been really smoking though? By the time in early October when we had those,
2 months? No, barely a month and a half.
Yeah, he had just had his first Maduro.
Yep.
Like the weekend before.
So
and he still was able to track just like how amazing it was.
Yeah. And
I pride myself on my palate too. I got a pretty good palate.
I got my dad smoking cigars again. So my son got married recently, and we did a really wonderful photo shoot with Smoking Cigars, and my dad.
Tell him I said congrats.
In a while. Yeah, thank you. And actually, I think in the next Cigar Aficionado magazine will be in the back.
Nice.
Because I submitted the pictures and they accepted them and said they're great. It was
Nice.
literally on the back of my tailgate of my truck. We had the bride, my son, the best man, my dad, and we had a professional photographer, and she took pictures of us smoking cigars. Well, we were all smoking. I had some Atabey and some really good high-end cigars that one of them, I gave one of them an Opus. I gave one like a Purple Rain Opus. One of them had an Atabey. One of them had a. They were all top end, all of us. So my dad's like, man, I think I'm gonna start smoking cigars again. Well, then now he's a madman. You know, like he's gone mad with it. But all he smokes is high-end stuff. He's like, he doesn't even want. I'm like, well, Dad, let me send you a little sampler of some stuff. He's like, no, I think I'm gonna stick to these Davidoffs and these Atabeys. I found a place in Nashville that does Atabey, and I got the Atabeys, and he's buying $30, $40, $50 cigars, and that's what he's smoking. He's like, well, smoking, I might as well smoke the best. So I'm like, okay, Dad, go for it, man. Hey, he's 75 years old. Like, hey,
when you're sitting in your hospital bed waiting to die of cancer and half your jaw is missing, do you want to know, like, the best cigars in the world killed me?
Yeah.
Yeah, the best had to take me down.
That's right. That's
Before
right.
I go down, I'm gonna smoke this Gurkha.
All right, new question. Okay, speaking, you brought it up. So we're going there. You're gonna own this. What's up with Gurkha, Brody?
I don't know. I don't know. I've moved away from Gurkha. I do have some old Gurkha Ghost. I think they are. I've got some that I got a hold of from a friend of mine whose father passed away, and he had this big humidor, but he had a bunch of aged, older, original Gurkha stuff, and we split it together. Mm-hmm. The son sold it to us, and we bought them. So I still have them, and I smoke them. So they're like from 2008, 2009. They're really good. I mean, they're great, but this marketing plan that Gurkha has, I just don't quite understand, because and I think it's still a mystery to everybody. And in the cigar group world, you know, it becomes a you know, if you the guy that pulls into the cigar group for the first time and he lights the Gurkha, you feel bad because you sit back and wait for people to start tagging him. You know, like,
yes,
smoking, man.
Yes,
you know, and for me, I do believe there are some good Gurkhas. I haven't smoked any in the last years. I haven't bought a Gurkha or smoked a Gurkha in any time that I can imagine or remember in the last 5 years. But I do have some older. It's a Ghost, the Gurkha Ghost, and then there's another one, and I can't think of the name. It's escaping me. But it was the two that I bought. I bought like 50 of them because I got them for next to nothing. But they were from 2008, 2009, and they're actually really, really good. You know, time has done them well, and so I pop them out, but I never post them.
Man's got shame.
I never.
Hey, at least he's on it.
I love reading the smack talking about Gurkha. People dog on Gurkha so bad, and I think it's hilarious. So that reminds me. I want to ask you a question. You can't say Gurkha. That is taken off the table. All right. What is a brand that is held in high esteem that you just don't get, John?
I'm going to pass because I'm going to say something I'm going to regret. So I'm just going to pass on this one.
Well,
I'm sorry. I don't want to make someone mad at me
John
again.
the diplomat today.
Is this going?
No. I think the person already knows where I'm going to go.
Yeah, but is that one really generally held in high esteem? Within that,
you really want me to?
Okay,
you really want me to answer?
All right, John's going to pass. All right, you got an answer, Mr. Fontenot?
Give me a second. Let me.
You know, normally I will say it, but I.
All right. Well, I'll go.
Yeah, go.
While you are cogitating.
Yeah, go ahead.
Davidoff.
What?
Davidoff.
Really?
Yeah, I've had a number of Davidoffs.
I like Davidoff.
And I don't find them as good as people say. Like, I had a Davidoff late hour, and it's an expensive stick.
Yeah.
And
what don't you like about it? What didn't hit for you?
It didn't have a whole lot going on.
Is it the high expectation? That's, I guess, the question. Did you just have a higher
I
expectation
guess
of
I
it
did.
because it's
I guess
Davidoff?
I did.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, oh wow, you know, this should be great, and it really didn't
quite do it for you. So.
What didn't go for you? Like, what was it?
It was well constructed. It burned okay. It had a good draw, but by I'm gonna tell you like this: we are in our last third right here,
Yeah.
and I'm sad
Yeah,
that it's
me
gonna
too.
end soon. Because every pull, I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. By the time the late hour got to this, I was ready for it to be over. And
That's weird. I didn't have that. I liked it.
And so that's the brand that I can say that I'm just not all that excited about. Drew Estate has a number of sticks that I'm not really blown away by, but they do have the Liga, which is very impressive. And Foundation has some quite good sticks. Everybody that I know of that's like a really revered cigar, I can see the merit behind it. But I see a lot of guys actually posting pictures of the late hour, and they say that they were underwhelmed with it. And so that's my answer.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think of one that I just would say I don't get it. I don't get the hype. I know it. I do like to try a lot of boutique cigars. This might be a good one, and the guy who runs the group with me, Joey, if he watches this, he's going to kill me because he's a huge fan. The Caldwell stuff.
Okay, I've never had a Caldwell.
Okay, so Caldwell's now moved out of boutique and moved into pretty more of a mass production, and there are people that just fawn over the Caldwell in some of our groups. They just love it, and I'm like, okay, there's one that I like that might be pretty decent, but I don't go buy them. If somebody gives me one in a $5 like a gift and stuff like that, I'll smoke one. I'll try it. It's it's good and stuff. But Caldwell in the boutique world, now moving into the bigger production world, seems to get a lot of high regard out there, and it's just not mine.
I got one just because he triggered it to take me back to the early days of when I started smoking cigars. Acid. I can't stand them.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes without saying.
Just saying, there's a lot of people out there that like them
There
because
are
they like
a lot
the
of people who
sweets.
like acids, and
It's the number one seller, right?
Yeah, I don't get it.
yeah, we've talked to Gary and to Johnny, and
Yeah, he says they're his number one.
their number one sellers
the number one
is the
seller.
Del Sols,
Yeah, the Isla del Sols. That's Drew Estate.
and
So and in fact here, I think that's by far their top
the
seller.
sugar,
Yeah,
the
that's
sugar
that's
cane ones, the
sugar
sugar
cane,
yeah.
yeah. Johnny came up with that. They're not actually sugarcane cigars. He
Yeah.
just
He
made
just
that
calls
up.
them that.
because of that sweetness. It's sweet like sugarcane, but
Yep.
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And
But after those conversations, Lindsay went and picked up an Isla del Sol because she needed to see what it was all about, and she couldn't finish it.
well, like Acid did this 20th. You remember that? They did. I don't know if you remember that. So they did a 20th, celebrating 20 years or whatever of whenever Drew started with the Acid, and they did a 20th, and they heavily promoted it, pushed it out there. I literally smoked. I puffed on it 5-6 times, and I went, I can't even. This is like smoking wrapped up cardboard. I mean, it just was horrible. It was like cardboard.
Sounds like something I smoked
It
before.
was like, I call it colored cardboard because the chemicals were coming out in it, like the chemicals from the
Jeez.
cardboard. The cardboard would have been better, but the chemicals in the cardboard, I was like, wow. And this is their 20, and they're like, but.
Oh yeah, and then
they're
you got to
all over
hear
the
from
place.
everybody, and you're just like, calm down, guys. It's just
Sorry,
my
guys.
opinion.
Wow.
Sorry, guys, but it's
We didn't-
still the number one seller, though.
We didn't ask you, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking the Lunatic Torch, the JFR Lunatic Torch. Visionaries, I think is what it's called.
I see a lot of guys smoking Lunatics.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got some kick. Now, I will say, and I'm being honest, I've had to touch this thing up a million times, but I did smoke it, rot, so to speak, right out of the truck. So it didn't have a chance to rest in my humidor, which I think I would buy some and go put them in the humidor for a little while, let them acclimate maybe.
Yep.
Maybe it's just because I grabbed it straight off, and it's good. It's strong. It's definitely strong. It's hitting me. I'm feeling a little bit of the queasiness coming from it. But this is also my third cigar in 3 hours, 4 hours. But it's a pretty decent seller for me.
This thing's
People
giving
seem
me
to
a
like
buzz too.
Yeah, this is by the end it's like,
giving me
okay,
a
this is
buzz.
I'm slowing down a lot because it's getting
Yeah, I'm like,
very
woo.
strong.
it. Yeah, I think I told y'all that. I said, remember at the final third, it's
Yeah, I
gonna go,
feel it.
it's gonna go up.
It's impressive.
Yeah, pretty good cigar, man. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
So how would you rate the Lunatic?
Number wise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
number rating. This is probably mid to high 70s. So not even 80. I'd call it, let's say 79.
So your scale is
even though I like JFR.
Is that's very I guess prohibitive. You know, you don't give out 80s very casual, because most guys, if they like it, they give it an 80 something.
Yeah.
You know, the way
Slightly under.
The way I look at it is like 70 is good, 80 is I would own it, I would pay for it, 90 is like special occasion.
Yeah.
You know, like the best. So I think a 70 stick is kind of the average.
Yeah.
You know, where
and I
most
think
of
I go like my rating personally, even though I don't really number rate, but I guess my mindset is more 80 to 90 is a very good stick, and 90 is kicking it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But 70s to me, in the 70 range, I'm not necessarily going to be pulling those out anymore. So that's where my rating is. I don't rate cigars by number. I like to actually see ratings. I really do. I like to see what different people think and how they rate them.
Where are you going to go on this one?
Well, that's kind of where we're heading. You wanna lead us off there, big boy?
Man, I really like this. So this is going to be hard for me. I'm going to go 92.
92.
Nice.
Wow.
I mean, just because this thing is making me buzz at the end. It hit the citrus note at the end, and the pepper's now kicking in hard. I'm like, wow! Everything you said, I'm getting it.
It's happening.
It's happening.
That's great.
So,
That's a great rating. I think it's a 90+ rated cigar in some of the circles. So it's a good number. What about you?
I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. All right. So my analysis, my evaluation of the cigar, got a great burn. It ashed well.
Yep.
I only started to have some sputtering issues as I got towards the end, and had to really slow my pace down, because you can't smoke the end of the cigar the same way. You have to take your time, because it's got less space from the cherry to your mouth, so it'll heat up too fast. So you got to take smaller puffs, less frequent puffs, and that'll cause it to go out.
The leaf will
I
break.
do like the flakiness of the ash. I like the dark ring. It's very oily. It was a pretty wrapper.
can we get a number, please?
I think I'd give it a 90.
Nice.
Really? I'm higher than you on this? What?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I know, but no, I think I'd do a 90 on this one. It's very good.
There's a first, ladies and gentlemen. There's a first.
Right?
I'm normally like way down here. You're.
I know. I don't know if I would see a 92, because it took a little bit to get, like, the difference between the opening puffs and where the business end was a pretty drastic difference. Like, when it turned up, I was like, oh,
the first,
whoa.
the first third was like, this is a good smoke,
Get you
and then it was like,
started.
woo.
That's
third.
why I'm not going as high as you are, because to me a 92 is like, no, you're kicking it from jump. You know, like a, the 1996 that I had yesterday.
I'm not changing my number, but
right?
okay.
I'm not telling you to. You're more than happy to be wrong. It's fine.
This guy.
No, but I have to look at all of that in putting my number on there. So
I say from the prestige of, look how it's wrapped. They don't do that.
That
for
is very
everything.
cool.
You know what I mean? It's not modest in saying like, hey, this is a different kind of smoke, and you're gonna feel this at the end. Come on, how are you gonna not give it a little bit higher than a 90?
So before we sign off, today happens to be January 31st. And
Yes,
do you
it is.
remember what ended on January 31st?
No, what?
Our promotion.
Oh, it did.
So the Trinidad has won that contest.
Sweet.
It's got the most votes.
Yep.
So now we're going to have to go get some, and we're going to feature them on an episode where we just geek out over a Trinidad. And have you had a Trinidad before?
No, I have not.
Oh my God. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Trinidad's. They are not, by any stretch, the most recognizable Cuban brand. You know, that typically is reserved for Cohiba and Monte Cristo. Everybody talks about, I gotta get a Monte Cristo number 2, you know, which is...
Wait, is this a Trinidad that we saw the other day?
No, that hasn't even been released yet. That's something different.
Yeah, because I was about to say, oh my God.
No.
If that's the one we're getting.
Trinidad has a number of different ones. There's the
Okay.
Topaz and there's the Vigia. There's a bunch of them. So the one that he's talking about is a different one. We got to go get it. But it is, in my opinion, every bit as good as a Cohiba because it is masterfully composed. It's silky, it's delicious, and it's very rich, but it's a little strong. It's
I
not
like strong.
Like Monte Cristos, they
It's
tend
right up
to
my
not be
alley.
as strong. Romeos, Hoyos, all punch. They're not as strong. As you go up the plant, you get the stronger cigars, and so you have your Cohibas, which are made from the top plant leaves, and then Trinidad is right under that, and you're in for a treat, buddy. They are something else. They're great.
I'm
Topaz,
I'm excited.
I would put up there with a Bahique as far as just overall experience, flavor, just.
Good stuff.
And what's great is no one knows what it is.
Yeah.
Because it has a very inconspicuous band, just a little gold band with 3 T's on it. And, you're not going to realize, like, well, that's a $120 stick he's smoking. You're not going to know. Just be like, it's just what it is. So we're going to get those. Make sure you tune in for that. I would say, write something in the comments, but nobody does. So even if you want to just write a comment saying "rubber baby buggy bumpers," I'll get a kick out of that. Any final thoughts?
No, this is definitely something you guys have to try. Go out and get one of these.
The Leaf by Oscar. I
Yep.
will definitely be smoking another
Sumatra.
one of these. The Sumatra. That's right.
Yep.
Got to get the Sumatra.
That's Sumatra because there's 4. There's the Connecticut, the Habano, the Maduro, and the Sumatra.
and
Sumatra is the one you smoke. So that's
I like to go towards the Maduros, but this has an entirely different flavor profile than a Maduro. It doesn't have that charriness that Maduros can have because like that almost overcooked note. This is very polished. It's not charry. It's got the flavors of the Connecticut's, but it's amplified.
Yeah.
And it's richer, but it's not Maduro. So like it's like a parallel to a Maduro as far as full flavor, in my opinion. I love it.
So there you have it, guys. Go get you one of these. This is amazing. And with that being said, I'm John Welsh, and I'm the gentleman.
And I'm Alex Stanford, and I'm the scholar.
and
this
I'm
is
Brody, the guest.
Brody the guest. Until next time, thanks to Bailey's for coasting, and keep it smoky.
Always.